Right, we're in Cape Town in South Africa, and in recent years there's been a little bit of a question over security and violence. And in the back of our cab today we're having a chat with Marian from South Wales. Hi Marian.
Hello.
And what brings you to South Africa?
I was travelling for the summer between university years.
So you decided to take a trip on your own around South Africa?
Yeah.
You've got a couple of pretty good looking shiners there. How did that happen?
I was hit in the face by a brick on my way home one night.
What were you actually doing at the time?
At the time I was walking home from buying lots of pies for dinner.
So what time of night was that, or
it was
day?
about 7:15.
In the evening?
Yeah.
So I mean hardly like after midnight
Yeah.
or pub chuck out time or anything like that, it was just early evening?
Yeah, early evening. It just started to get dark, and that's when I knew he was behind me because he overtook me when he was walking. And then when he was about 10 sort of minutes ahead of me, he turned around and walked the other way.
So
And he looked at me. And then when he was behind me, he turned around and started following me again. And I thought, that's not normal. You can't get lost
Yeah.
twice in one street. So I knew something was going to happen. So I started walking like faster and faster, like close to the road so cars could see me. And there's this like little shop on the far side of the road. So I started crossing over the road towards the shop, and he must have known that it was now or never. So he ran up behind me, stuck the knife to my throat, and told me he was going to kill me. And that was it.
And that's all he said?
Yeah. He put his hand over my mouth so I couldn't scream. And I said, what do you want? And when he took his hand away, I said, what do you want? Do you want my money? He said, no, I'm going to kill you. So I thought, well, that's it. I'm going to start fighting now because I've got nothing to lose. So I did.
So what did you try and do? What was your...
Well, the first thing I did was I wasn't sure if he even had a knife. All I could feel was his fist. So I felt kind of, and it was there. So I kind of pulled his hand away and he pushed me. And there's a short little wall by the side of the road. And I fell kind of head first over it and smacked my face in on some bricks at the bottom because it was about a metre down the other side. And then before I could get up, he jumped on me. And he was trying to stick his knife in me and I was fighting so I wouldn't let him. And that wasn't working, so he dropped the knife, and as I went for it, he started trying to strangle me. And then I pushed him off me. And I ended up actually sitting on top of him with the knife to his throat, saying, "Don't move, or I'll kill you," because I thought I'd be able to get away if he was on the floor. But he obviously didn't like that, so he pushed me off, smacked me in the head with a brick, and that just made me really, really mad. And I jumped up and I was screaming and shouting, waving this knife around. And I must have scared the hell out of him because he ran away. And then I went into the shop, which was about 5 metres away, and I just burst into tears. Sat on the floor shaking like a jelly with this knife in my hand and blood all over me. And
Where was the blood was from your head?
yeah.
You hear about violent problems and you expect that maybe you're going to get mugged or they're going to try and take your money, but for someone just to come up to you and say, "I'm going to kill you."
I tried to, when I was actually down there, like trying to fight this knife, I was trying to talk to him. And I was like, "Why are you trying to kill me?" And he just went really mad and was like, "You can't ask me why, don't ask me why, I'm going to kill you, I'm going to kill you." And it was odd because he wanted me to shut my eyes. So it was like he really wanted me to be a scared wreck before he stabbed me, but he didn't want me to be looking at him when he did it. So I just think he was a bit demented.
You've got 2 bruises and a bit of a knock on the forehead.
But this was a brick, this was falling over the wall, and it's looking a lot better than it did. But I had to go to the hospital and have my head x-rayed for just because they thought I might have broken my nose and
Yeah.
some of my sort of eyebrows and stuff. But that cost me 50 quid, and then I discovered my insurance ran out 2 days before
Oh,
it was snapped
shit,
on my
yeah.
head, which really pissed me off. But there you go, it's life.
What about the police?
The police were absolutely hopeless. They turned up about 15 minutes after it happened, and by that time I was sitting on the sofa around the back of the shop, drinking hot chocolate and Cluedos and trying to calm me down. And they turned up, and he asked me if I could describe the bloke, and I tried, but it wasn't what was on my mind at the time.
Of course.
And then he just wrote my name down on the back of his hand in a biro, and said if I felt like I had to make a statement, I guess I could, go and do it the next morning. And then he left again, and he actually left the knife sitting there on the table. And it turned out afterwards, because the person where I was staying, they went to complain to the police station. They said, "Oh, well, he thought the knife was your knife," and he didn't speak very good English anyway, so he probably didn't have a clue what I was telling him. So it wasn't very helpful.
No, it doesn't encourage you that the establishment or the system can help you out.
At the
under
time,
those
you just really
circumstances.
need someone to say, "Yeah, we'll go and see if we can
Yeah.
kind of do something."
You need that kind of moral support that people are fighting your corner.
Even if they couldn't do anything about it, and I know they can't find one person out of lots, they don't make you feel like they're going to try. Because next time someone else might not be so good at fighting back, and he might actually manage to kill someone.
Is there anything that you can learn from that? If someone's behaving suspiciously, is there something you do faster to increase your survival chances?
In my situation, there's a lot of things that I would have done differently. I would have started running instead of... Because after I crossed over the road, if I'd run to the shop, I'm sure I would have made it. It would have been fine. And when I knew he was behind me, you know, I could have kind of turned around and faced him, because he's
Yeah.
not going to run up in front of you with a knife, I don't think. So I don't know, there's a lot of things that I'd like to do again.
Although you'd end up maybe a bit paranoid that as soon as someone looks at a house and changes direction, you'll be running for shops and things like that. But did you go through a stage where you were thinking, you know, that you were blaming yourself for being out on the street?
Yeah, one of the first things I said when the bloke from the hostel came to pick me up was that it was my fault, because I was out at night by myself and it was stupid, because, you know, everyone always says don't do it.
Yeah. But in the end, it is not your fault. Walking down the street at any time of the day or night is perfectly acceptable behaviour. But actually jumping on people and trying to kill them, whatever time of the day it is definitely not socially acceptable behaviour. What about other people's reaction to you after this has happened? Do you feel that you need people to crowd round and...
In some ways, the
Give
reaction's
sympathy.
been worse than the sort of event in
Yeah.
some ways, because ever since then, every single person I pass on the street, they look at me and people have a look on their face that says, what happened to your face? And I know they want to ask me, and a lot of people do. And I don't like going over it again and again with people I've never met before, just because they're being nosy
Yeah.
about what
Yeah.
happened.
So you say, oh, I fell off my bike.
The stories are getting more and more just kind of, yeah, had an accident, fell off my bike, went abseiling, anything.
Yeah.
But I mean, when people take fun out of it and just have a laugh about it, it's
Yeah.
better than when people
Yeah.
give all this sympathy and they say how sorry they are. And it just gets a bit sort of too much.
That was the one thing that was on my mind, that maybe people just traumatise you just by overreacting, when in yourself you think, look, okay, some shit's happened, but it's okay now.
Yeah, I mean, one person came up to me and they said, wow, you sure it's one brick? It looks like you did several rounds with several. And that just made me laugh. And, you know, it's a lot better than people going, oh my God, what happened to you?
You're from South Wales, but you're living in Birmingham. Do you think this experience has changed you? Do you think South Africa's this dodgy place, or do you think it compares with maybe city areas in the UK?
I think you think that this place is more dangerous because there's a lot of people on the streets at night that kind of just give you dodgy looks. But I think more people get bashed over the head in Britain. But that kind of worries me, because now I go back to Birmingham and every time I go out at night, you know, I'll start getting scared maybe, whereas before I've just gone out and like not thinking
Yeah.
anything will happen to me. So it's like naive security.
Certainly, if you go out and do things, there's a danger you might get hurt. But if you let it force you to live in a box, then there's a danger that you don't actually experience anything in life, and
Yeah.
which is the biggest risk.
See, that's
In
the
the
kind of
end.
thing. My mother never wants me to do anything. She's convinced I'll die. Whereas I always say, look, if I don't do anything at all, I'm not going to have a life. I might as well
Exactly.
snap it.
If you don't do anything, you're dead anyway, aren't
Yeah.
you? You seem to be recovering pretty well and not letting it get you down. You're 19, it's your first time you've actually done anything like this, travelling on your own, and you end up with that kind of experience, but you're pulling through.
Yeah, I'd say so. A lot of people think I should be emotionally traumatised for life. I just think it's out the way, it's done. And I'm never going to see the bloke again, it doesn't matter anymore. Yeah.
You've got some great travel anecdotes at the end
Yeah,
of
it's
it as
going to
well.
be good. Go back to the pub and I got good stories to tell.
You've come through it, and you've, you know, maybe a stronger person for it, and other people watching can learn something from the experience too. So thanks for chatting to us.
Thank you.